we're almost at the end of chapter 1. I'm going to quickly review the Fred and Mary having an argument project, but then there are 2 very short extra lessons that will deal with 2 sort of things that are relevant to this chapter, but that are not essential. So I'll fit them at the end as sort of appendices, if you like. So here's our program so far. In fact, our program fully. And there's more we can do. There's always more we can do. There's always more we can tidy up. For example, something we can do sometimes is, we've talked about comments. One way we sometimes use comments in code is to annotate the sections of our code. For example, here I might say create the turtles. And there I might say run the main animation. I can remove that. Don't repeat yourself. You now know it. Sometimes you also put comments on certain lines of code to explain perhaps why we've done whatever we've done. And sometimes we use comments there, as I've done here. Let me uncomment this now to temporarily remove a line of code. So those are comments. We can do a bit more tidying up if we wanted to. As we move on in this course, we'll look at some of these best practices and what else we can do to make our code look nice and neat and effective. So, quick review. We need to import these modules. So Python is a vast language, but when we open a Python file, there aren't many commands we have access to. We have access to what we call the built-in commands, or functions and keywords, things like import, for example, words like while, they're always there. Print is a function that's always there. But most of the fun stuff in Python is in modules that we need to bring in from the outside. In this case, we're bringing in the turtle module, we're bringing in the random module. And then to use them, for example, in this case, we're saying random.rendint 1,20. I haven't fully shown you what random.rendint does, although you can probably guess. Let's go to the console again and import random. Random.rendint between 2 and 6, it gives me a random number between 2 and 6. In this case, it gave me 6. Let's do it again. 6 again. It's my lucky day, perhaps. 5, there we go. It doesn't always give 6, you see. 3, 6 again, 5 again. There's lots of 6s there, but I assure you it is random. So I'm getting random numbers between 2 and 6 every time. I haven't got 1 yet, haven't I? But they are random. Trust me, I did not write this module. Someone else did. We can trust it fully that they're all equally likely. So we have a random number between 2 and 6. I'll tell you why I didn't get 1. Sorry, you should have been shouting at your screen. I said random.rendint 2,6. So I could never get 1 there. But I got all the values. 2, 4, 3, there we go, 5, 6. So that's what random.rendint is doing. Then we set a few variables, like where the finish line should be, created our turtles, Fred and Mary, changed their shape, changed their color, and this is where the fun starts. We want a way to repeat a chunk of code, not forever, up until something happens, and we want the computer program to make that decision. In the extra bits, we'll have a look at how we can alternative ways we can actually control the while loop. But this is a nice, neat way that I like to use. Create a variable and assign it a value of true or false. Then you can say while carry on, which is the name of the variable in this case. Carry on is true. It will remain true until we decide to change it to false. Something in the code needs to happen for carry on to become false. And we're moving Fred and Mary forward. We're just printing out their values. We don't need these anymore now, so I'm going to comment them out, and that one. And this is where we're asking the computer to make a decision. An if statement asks the computer, you decide if the condition I'm giving you is true. In this case, I've got 2 conditions. So if either this one is true or that one is true, either one of them is true, makes the whole thing true. Then I'd like you to run these 2 lines of code, which include changing carry on to false. But if that condition is not true, then do something else. Just write carry on as usual. And the while loop, every time we reach the end of the while loop, we're going to go back and check line 25. Every time it's checking whether carry on is still true. At some point, when Fred or Mary pass the finish line, carry on will be false. And therefore the while loop will stop. It will print the end, and then that's the end of the program. Good, we will stop there with Fred and Mary. But as I mentioned, there are 2 very short lessons that look at some other things worth mentioning before we move on to the next chapter.